20 clues and moments that foreshadowed WandaVision's Agnes twist.
Why would you think that?
Because you are.
WandaVision made the big revelation of its major villain in episode 7. Yes, there might still be a bigger villain involved, but Agnes was the one who was there right from the beginning. Her actions always seemed fishy. Every dialogue that came out of her mouth sounded suspicious, and most of us knew the fact that she was Agatha Harkness. But still, Marvel made us wait for the big reveal, and everyone was impressed when the revelation finally came. Agatha's lair was spooky. Her purple mystical energy looked great, and we were all left humming her soundtrack. But director Matt Shakman and writer Jack Schaefer did a remarkable job by placing several little details that led us to this amazing reveal. Now let's look at every clue that foreshadowed WandaVision's Agnes twist. Her name. First of all, people had caught on to the Agatha reveal right when Kathryn Hahn was cast as the so-called nosy neighbor. And when we got to know the name of her character, it almost became clear that Agnes was nothing but an amalgamation of the name Agatha Harkness. Charmed. When Agnes introduced herself to Wanda, she asked her name and Wanda replied,
I'm Wanda.
Then Agnes replied,
Wanda. Charmed.
At its face value, this piece of dialogue seems nothing. But there was a TV series called Charmed, which ran from 1998 to 2006. Then it was rebooted in 2018. And guess what the show is about? The answer is witches. So with the series paying so much attention to so many little details, we're certain that Charmed was yet another reference to Agatha's witchy identity. Her anniversary. When Wanda said that it was her anniversary, Agnes replied,
The only way Ralph would remember our anniversary is if there was a beer named June 2nd.
Did you get it? She said her anniversary was on the 2nd of June. Again, this date might not seem like anything extraordinary, but I'll tell you that it absolutely is. June 2nd is the date when the infamous Salem witch trials took place back in 1692. Signora Scratchy. The little rabbit, Signora Scratchy, initially seemed to be a hint for Mephisto. Scratchy is a name that could have linked to Satan's name, which is Mr. Scratch or Old Scratch, but it could also link to the Marvel character Nicholas Scratch. He is the son of Agatha Harkness in the comics. And since Agnes has been carrying him around, one of his forms could be a rabbit in Wanda's family. The devil's in the details.
The devil's in the details, Bev.
Back in episode 2, when Dottie said,
Oh, the devil's in the details, Bev.
Agnes replied,
That's not the only place he is.
As most of us know, this was a direct nod to Mephisto. We've all been presuming that the infamous Ralph that Agnes keeps mentioning will turn out to be Mephisto itself. Now, because Agatha Harkness is the follower of Mephisto in the Marvel comics, her several mentions of the devil were a tease of her own identity and her connection to the Demon Lord.
She came here because...
Herb's glitch. In episode 3, Herb was seen glitching as he was literally breaking the wall. Towards the end of episode 7, we got the revelation that Herb was under Agatha's spell. So him breaking the wall was actually foreshadowing Agatha's big revelation in episode 7, which was titled Breaking the Fourth Wall. She placed doubts in Vision's mind. In episode 3, she talked to Vision about the mysterious background of Geraldine. She even used Herb to cast doubt in Vision's mind. Herb said that Geraldine came to Westview because... And then she suddenly stopped Herb from revealing the truth that everyone in Westview is trapped. She wanted to give Vision the idea that Wanda has trapped everyone. This ultimately started to create a friction between him and Wanda right after the birth of Billy and Tommy. Then in episode 6, she acted as if she was also under Wanda's spell. But the truth is that Agnes has been the one mind controlling everyone in Westview. Remember when Vision broke Norm out of the spell and he said,
You have to stop her.
Stop who?
She's in my head.
He didn't give out a specific name. But when Agnes pretended to be broken out of the spell by Vision, she said that Wanda was controlling everyone in Westview. This drove Vision further away from Wanda, and he made a firm decision to step out of the barrier. Even in episode 7, it was Agnes who kept holding him back with a bunch of interviews, red lights, and children blocking his return. She was probably doing all this to keep Vision away from Wanda and the kids. No known identity outside Westview. In episode 4, the SWORD agents managed to make out the real identities of all characters inside Westview. But apparently, they weren't able to find out who Agnes was. This was another major hint for the fact that she was a witch that no one knew about. Going with the script. Episode 7 revealed that Agnes was the director of WandaVision, while Wanda was the creator. In episode 5, when Auntie Agnes showed up to babysit the newborns, Vision wasn't comfortable with her touching the kids. Then Agnes just stopped and questioned Wanda. She asked her if she should start it from the top. This shows the relationship that a director and the creator/showrunner of the TV series has. Ultimately, the showrunner has the final say on things. So the fact that Agnes questioned Vision's take foreshadowed that she will be revealed as Agatha, who is actually the director of the Westview TV show. Lavender Spray. As Wanda tried to convince Vision, Agnes used a bit of lavender spray on the kids. She said that,
Sprays it on me every night, but there's no taming this tiger. What?
lavender is an herb that has a purple shade. In fact, we also saw purple plants growing in Agatha's garden. And purple is also the color of her brand of magic, so this was yet another minor detail. No reaction to the aging kids.
Let's just hope this dog stays the same.
Right after she sprayed lavender over the kids, they aged by 5 years. Now I'm not saying that it was the magic of her spray, but the timing was convenient, and Agnes had absolutely no reaction to the unnatural growth of the twins. It hinted that being a witch, she was used to seeing unnatural things happen all the time. Sparkys Demise. Episode 7 made the revelation that the evil witch killed little Sparky. But even back when we witnessed the death of Sparky in episode 5, people were extremely suspicious of the whole situation. By now, we've all made out that Agnes's goal was to get closer to the kids. She wanted them to grow and manifest their powers for a particular reason. And because she had already seen the kids grow 10 years, or perhaps manifest their powers in the grief of losing Sparky. At the same time, she also wanted to test Wanda's abilities. So people thought that she might have killed the dog, and ultimately that's what happened.
Cool.
Quicksilver. Episode 7 showed us that Agnes was the one who brought fake Pietro into the mix. But we had already theorized that because of its convenient timing. In the beginning of episode 5, Vision was suspicious of Agnes. But towards the end, Wanda and Vision had a big fight. So Agnes had to deflate the situation and make Vision even more suspicious of Wanda at the same time. She couldn't have rung the bell herself because she knew that Vision was onto her. So instead, she sent a fake Pietro, which could actually be her son, Nicholas Scratch. Kids in Westview. When Wanda and Vision were arguing, Vision asked his wife about the absence of kids in Westview. At the same time, Agnes was just sitting in their garden listening to what they were arguing about. So not only did she send Pietro, but she also brought up many kids in Westview in the very next Halloween episode. Her Halloween costume. During the episode 6, everyone was dressed in their comic-accurate costumes, and Agnes, being a witch in the comics, was also dressed as one. So her dress was another hint at the fact that she was Agatha Harkness. Her license plates.
To reach those outside of
Westview is situated in New Jersey, but in the Halloween episode, the license plates on Agnes's car were actually from Connecticut. This might feel like a simple continuity error, but given that the show has paid so much attention to even the little details, I believe that this was intentional. I've already talked about the Salem witch trials of Massachusetts. Just like that, Connecticut also has a witchy connection, as the Hartford witch trials took place over here. The mole.
Mole on my back that I just can't see.
Right before Agnes was taking the kids to her place, she asked Wanda to look at her mole. Did you notice how the camera swiftly rushed towards Wanda? We didn't get to see the mole because it would have outed the fact that Agnes was the witch, Agatha Harkness. You see, witches have distinct moles on their bodies, so the suspicious mole on her back was a hint for her witchy revelation. And considering the kind of reaction that Wanda, Billy, and Tommy had upon seeing the mole, I'm glad that we didn't get to see it. She bit a kid?
I promise I won't bite.
While taking the kids to her place, Agnes said that she doesn't bite. And right after that, she said,
I actually did bite a kid once.
"It's quite often in fairy tales that witches lure kids and then eat them." Now, I'm not saying that Agnes might have eaten Billy and Tommy, but her statement of biting a kid again foreshadowed her true identity.
I like it here.
Billy liked being in her house. After manifesting his powers, Billy started to hear the thoughts of people around him. He heard Vision when he was in trouble, and in episode 7, he mentioned that his head felt weird. He was hearing noises. He wasn't just hearing the troubled thoughts of Wanda, but he was also hearing the painful thoughts of the people in Westview who were all under a spell. And because Agnes was not under any spell, Billy was happy being at her place. He wasn't hearing the noises in his head anymore. This was again alluding to Agnes's identity. She took Wanda away from Monica. When Wanda lashed out at Monica once again, Monica almost managed to get through to her. But right then, Agnes showed up to take Wanda away. She wanted to keep her away from Monica, just like she wanted to distance her from Vision. It shows how she had been manipulating Wanda right from the beginning and continued to do so until the end of episode 7. How many of these hints did you spot? Tell us in the comments. And make sure that you like and follow us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube for more exclusive content. Thanks! We'll see you in the next one.